G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. I'm happy to be here, guys. I hope you guys are as well. By the way, right now, I told you how crazy Australia is. It was super warm today, like 100 degrees or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Now it's cooling down. Big storm on the way. Of course, always kind of happens. And yes, this video right now, this one here, maybe later on, I might talk about Kenny Pickett and the Terry Bradshaw video. He talked about Kenny Pickett, but this one here, we're not talking quarterbacks. We're talking about the tight end position. The tight ends, Frymouth, Connor Haywood, Rodney Williams. I think he might have a chance too from practice squad, maybe to have a chance for the 53. Just maybe. Not saying that he will beat out Darnell or Connor, depending how the Steelers work things around. But he was pretty good player last year for the practice squad. And sometimes we saw splashes in preseason, and also when he had to step up into the season, Rodney Williams did okay, in teams and stuff like that. Like I said, we're talking about tight ends today, and I want to give you like my view or what I think is going to happen next year. How excited I am to see like blokes like Darnell, Pat Frymouth, come back in this offense. Also, too, Pat Frymouth, I think they need to try and sort out his contract this year. It's going into his last year of his contract. Do they give him an extension? Do they give Najee Harris an extension? Connor Haywood, he plays teams. He plays tight ends, like fullback role. So I think we might see him get the ball in the mix too. Big shout out to Darnell Washington. He needs to get more involved into this offense, right? Everyone's talking about QB, and I will be doing a quarterback video later with Terry Bradshaw. But let's talk about some of these tight ends. We'll go, pretty much player by player. And I do want to start with the first bloke is Pat Frymouth. Now, his contract, when I went to Spot Track, he has it's his like fourth year this year, I'm pretty sure. So 4 years in the league. Pat Frymouth, 88, tight end, 6'5", big bloke, 258, 25 years of age. By the way, too, well, these blokes, they're so young. Like George Pickens, Calvin Austin, the offensive line, Kenny Pickett. I know some people like him or don't like him, but they're very young. This offense is very, very young, and they're going into their third and fourth years. I can't believe that George Pickens is already into his third year. It only feels like yesterday, 2 years back, that we're talking about GP into the league, GP 14, and here we are 3 years into his time with the Steelers, and now we have Paddy Frymouth being 4 years. So the Steelers have to do one big question for him is they need to sort out his contract. And do they do it this year or do they wait until he's a free agent? I kind of feel like the Steelers will nail him down, lock him down this year with some sort of extension. So Paddy Frymouth, where's the 88, of course? And I went to his stats. Go to Pat Frymouth. He's played 44 games so far for the Black and the Gold. He's been targeted 224 times, received 155 yards. Last year, in 2023, Pat Frymouth got only 2 TDs and 308 yards, right? Wasn't the best year, but we all know it was the Matt Canada failed experiment. So I'm hoping with Arthur Smith that this year, and even if hopefully if it's Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph, whoever the quarterback is, can target Frymouth. Also, try and target Frymouth in the red zone. Red zone last year, I haven't got the stats on me, but from a fan, fan in my room or fan at the bar, fan in the stadium, doesn't matter where you were. Red zone was pretty horrible. We went down to the 20, down to the 10. You saw no passing patterns from KP8 or Rudolph or Trubisky to the end zone. We could try and run it in. It was fantastic. You didn't see any passing patterns or passing routes to get open the tight end. And with a guy like Frymouth, why not try and get him one-on-one, I don't know, with a corner or try and get Darnell in the end zone too. The Steelers need to fix that. They need to fix the red zone in that capacity with the tight ends. Now, let's move on to Darnell Washington, number 80 tight end, 6'7", coming off the injury out of the draft, 264 pounds, only 22. Can you believe this bloke's only 22 and the Steelers have him for this year, next year, and a fourth year? This will be a lot of fun to see if the Steelers can actually get the ball to Darnell. And I've been talking to my good mate, Matty Peverill, who runs Steelers Touch Down Under, right? When we do that show there, we always talk about if you get Darnell the football, pass him the football, The guy is 6'7". He's going to fall forward 4 yards. If we're second and 6 and he gets two yards on a carry, he might fall forward 4 yards to get a first down. They need to feed him the ball. So I went to his stats too for this year in his rookie year, and we had him receiving Darnell 7 times out of 10 targets, only 10 targets. That's almost it's almost criminal to see the Steelers do that. 10 targets, and I understand too he's a good blocker. He works well on the right hand side, works well next to Broderick Jones. He's almost like an extension of the O-line, a big fella up front, a big, huge bloke knocking people out, right? But he needs more targets. 7 receptions out of 10 targets and 61 yards in his rookie career. We need those numbers to go from 61 to 200, 300, maybe 340 yards, something like that, and still use him on the line. Go and get an O-line, go and get a center, go and get a right tackle, and use that guy on the O-line to push the ball forward with Najee and Warren, because they're not stopping. Najee's not stopping. He's going to go for his 4th year in a row, getting 1,000 yards. Warren, I'm hoping he cracks another 1,000. Hopefully this Smith offense can get 2 rushes that get 1,000 over each, right? So Darnell, huge bloke. I expect big things from him into year 2. All right, next guy too. I told you this. I told you I was going to be very excited about the tight ends, because we have been talking a lot about the quarterback. We've been talking here and there about the draft and grabbing key free agents and guys leaving. Trubisky left, Chooks, the punter, right? Matt Ararazar, the punt god, signed with the Chiefs, so that's not an option anymore. Fields is still being linked to the Steelers, which doesn't make any sense to me. But here we go. So I want to finish with Connor Hayward in a minute. But Rodney Williams, he was kind of like a fan favorite last year. Number 87 tight end, made a few key catches in preseason. I think he had a pretty good preseason, by the way. Working with Kenny, getting these guys, he was getting open, getting the ball, but there was no room for Rodney Williams. Now he's still, to my knowledge, this is from the Steelers roster, he's still on the team. Right now, he's on the 53, or he can be on the practice squad. So he's only 23 years of age, a young bloke, but he has some promise too, because he plays special teams. Remember that. Connor Hayward plays teams. They still need to sign Myers Boykin. They need to sign Christian 46. You know who I'm talking about. They need to sign as well James Pierre. A lot of players, and Miles Killebrew too. A lot of players on teams haven't signed back yet, or they hopefully sign them as free agents. But here, Rodney Williams, as being 6'4", so he's like one of the shorter ones, or Connor Hayward's the shorter one being the fullback. But out of the tight ends, 6'4", 6'7", and 6'5". Rodney Williams, he plays teams too. Now, I went to his stats as well. In 2023, so he played 13 games, 6 total tackles, 5 solo, 1 assist, and that was all pretty much teams. But from my memory, when I'm thinking about it, looking back when I did the live streams and I was watching the games, I do remember saying his name a fair bit. So it's good to see him get involved in tackles. That's how you keep your name on the roster. That's how in Mike Tomlin's teams, in the Steelers teams, with Danny Smith, you do your work on special teams. Any ex-players will say that. You do your work there, and then hopefully you can try and crack the offense, right? So don't just discard some fan sites out there which will say, cut him, Rodney Williams is terrible. Well, I liked him. I liked him as a tight end. Also liked him as a teamer as well. So I think he has a chance to make the roster again in 2024, the season coming up, because the next guy we talk about is Connor Hayward. He plays fullback and also tight end. So you can run 3 tight ends, being Pat, Darnell, Rodney, all 3 blokes together. Plus Connor Hayward is that guy who plays teams and also plays fullback. The Steelers haven't got their traditional fullback like they used to have back in the day with Dan Kreider or who's some of the other blokes we've had in the recent past, like Watt and things like that, right? We've now got a fullback that is like fullback/tight end, being Connor Hayward. Now, with Connor Hayward's stats, okay, so he's going into his, I can't believe it too, he's going to his third year. So in his first year, Connor Hayward had 151 yards, 167 yards in the second year. So 318, he's had 1 TD. That was the Atlanta Falcons game with Kenny Pickett. And he's had first downs 14. So he's done a little bit of damage here and there. He's been targeted 51 times. I want to see more chances where they might run a fullback sneak or, hand the ball for Connor. Like get him involved in the run game too. The Steelers don't use a third down running back. They only use Najee and Warren. Get him on the field. Use him in that, was it Spider Wide 2 Banana or whatever it is that the other bloke used to talk about. So get him in there. maybe do a play action pass, fullback, get him involved in the offense somehow. Have Darnell, Frymouth, and Hayward on the field at the same time, right? So I'm looking for a big year for Connor Hayward, looking for a big year for Frymouth into a contract year, and also looking for a massive year with Darnell Washington. But don't forget about Rodney Williams. He'll be fighting his way onto the teams, and he'll be fighting his way hopefully onto the 53 again, trying to get a hat. And if he's playing teams, he has a chance also to play the offense too. So pretty keen for these guys. Pretty keen for Pat Frymouth, Darnell, Rodney, and Connor Hayward. I don't believe, if you were to think about it, that the Steelers would go and maybe sign any free agents. I don't think that's going to happen. Will the Steelers go into the draft? Probably not. Why would you need to? You've got Frymouth, you've got Darnell, 1 and 2. You have Rodney Williams of teams, and you have Connor Hayward being fullback and tight end. Do you really need to go the free agent route? Probably not. Do you need to go the draft? Probably not. Anyways, guys, that's a wrap for today in this episode. And later on in the afternoon, I'll be doing a Kenny Pickett talk, because I told you no quarterback mentions in this one. But the next episode, I'll talk about Kenny Pickett and also Terry Bradshaw's thoughts on Kenny Pickett. I'll see you later.